Future Jam.
Welcome to the Future Jam, a tech news podcast for enthusiasts and casual listeners alike. I'm Mike, and once again, I'm here with my good buddy Alex.
Hey everybody, how's it going? Mike, how's life? How's the world?
I'm back to work.
Your favorite thing in the world.
Oh yeah, I've been COVID kept me away, but I'm back to work.
Yeah, I know when you ranked like your favorite things, like the things you most care about in the world, it's your work, your drive to work, and then your wife.
Yeah, a very, very sad existence.
I don't know, you seem super happy. He's like, I love my life.
No, but yeah, it's exciting. Summer's coming to a close, and kids are going back to school. School buses are like trolling the neighborhood now, like dropping kids off, picking kids up. It's crazy.
Doing what they're supposed to do.
Well, I mean, it didn't happen all last year. Like, school buses weren't running really last year at all, really, right?
Some schools had in person. I don't think the city Cincinnati went back, so I don't think in my neighborhood they did. They better not mess up my traffic.
It's weird seeing like all this like commotion now. But
well, you're a firm believer that kids should be neither seen or heard.
I completely agree with that. Yeah, when I was a kid, I had to eat dinner like facing the wall.
Yeah, well, that's because you always get in timeout for being.
Well, yeah, we'll not get into that part, but yeah. So, yeah, are you ready to jump into the dumb tech of the week?
Yeah, I guess so.
Enough about my childhood.
But people want to know more about Mike's childhood. They want to know about when you traded your Game Boy for roller skates. They want to know about...
That is actually a pretty good story. I think my parents are pretty mad about that. But, yeah, when I was a kid, I really wanted these rollerblades that had the brakes in the front, like on the toes. Unique design. And I saw them, I wanted them, and I had a Game Boy. And I asked my friend, I'm like, hey, would you like to trade your rollerblades for my Game Boy? This is like 3rd or 4th grade, so, I was not the brightest kid.
Yeah.
But yeah, the trade went through, and I had those rollerblades. I loved them. A lot of fun.
No regrets?
In retrospect, yeah, maybe some regrets, but...
Well, you can still wear the rollerblades. I assume your feet haven't grown since you were in the 3rd grade.
I have no clue what happened to those rollerblades, to be perfectly honest. I probably would have still had the Game Boy, because it was like the old one with the AA batteries. That thing probably would last forever.
Yeah, I have one in my house. I have 2 color Game Boys. And I think I have my brother's Game Boy SP. So, we got a lot of Game Boys going on in this house.
I think the only thing that irritated me about that Game Boy was back in the day before the Game Boys had a light. So you had to play it in a well-lit room or like buy a special attachment with like a little flashlight on it.
I like the attachment. It was cool.
So like I couldn't sneak up in the middle of the night and play games because I didn't have like a light for it. So it's kind of like, I can't really have fun at night with this thing.
Yeah, but you did go out in the middle of the night and rollerblade through the neighborhood, so...
I probably did that. No, I had to be home when the streetlights came on. Like any kid in our generation.
I never went outside, so I wouldn't know.
That's right, you're anti-outdoors, so...
Yeah, right. Outdoors suck. You heard it first in the Future Jam.
Yeah, you heard it here. But yeah, we have actually a 2-parter for the Dumb Tech of the Week. I call it the double whammy edition. And both of them involve T-Mobile.
Yeah, you hate T-Mobile.
Actually, I think they're... What were they? The uncarrier for a while? I think they were kind of cool.
Yeah, they were always like they were always there, right?
They were always like that 4th one that would always have like interesting concepts. Like, we're bringing back unlimited data. Like, they were the first one to bring back unlimited data and all that sort of thing.
Were they the first ones to do unlimited text as well?
Yeah, they always had these interesting concepts because they were the smaller ones, so they had to compete with like AT&T and Verizon, so they had to do these cool things.
They were the cheaper one, and then they have the as good as service, but they would do those. You get people to join.
Well, anyways, yeah, they are an interesting company. I don't love them and I don't hate them, but they did some 2 kind of boneheaded moves. Let's just jump into the first one. The first one kind of is tied up with the recent purchase of Sprint. And do you remember that merger? That merger went through like last year, right? With Trump and all of that.
I thought it was 2020.
Okay.
So yeah, that would have been last year.
Wow. Okay. Yeah. Time. We don't understand time.
I thinking 2020 was like a couple of years ago. But yeah, it was last year.
And so one of the requirements of the merger of T-Mobile and Sprint was like our government was like saying, hey, there needs to be 4 carriers because this competition needs to happen. Because if there's no competition, the prices will go up. So they brokered some sort of wackadoodle deal with Dish Network saying Dish Network is going to take a portion of Sprint and turn it into their own network so we have 4 networks again.
Yeah, they were taking Boost Mobile.
Yeah, Boost Mobile, which was a Sprint thing, I guess.
Yeah, it was the cheapest plan out there. So a lot of like low income and rural areas use Boost Mobile, which is kind of a big deal. Which I can understand why the government's like, hey, we still need this cheaper carrier so people can afford cell phone service.
And part of the deal was T-Mobile was supposed to support these customers until Dish could get their network off the ground. And this is aside, but Dish Network's network name is hilarious. Did you see what the name of their network was?
Oh, what was it? I miss it.
It's called Project Genesis, and there's a 5 as one of the S's because it's going to be a 5G network.
Nice.
That's got to be like one of the top 10 worst names for a company ever.
Let's see. Like a project name or name for a company?
Well, I mean, I guess this is just their email sign-up page. So sign up for information about Project Genesis. Hopefully they're going to come up with an actual name for their network when it launches. But
Isn't Genesis a car brand?
Yeah, it's I think it's Audi or Hyundai.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then also I read a book and one of like the chapters was Genesis.
And there's also a terrible Terminator Genesis with the same issue with the 5 in the title.
Was that the recent one?
No, that was the one before that.
Oh, Dark Fate wasn't bad. The recent one, that wasn't bad.
Didn't watch
But
it.
aside.
Yeah.
Yeah, so they were supposed to, T-Mobile was supposed to hold service between 2020 and 2023 so Dish Network can start their own 5G and move these lower income customers over.
And that was part of the requirement of buying Sprint. Like that was like their agreement with the government.
And then T-Mobile was saying like, hey, now we're just doing this until 2022.
Yeah, basically they know that the government doesn't really have any power, so...
Yeah, I don't know what the government can do. They said they can fine them up to like 100,000 or 500,000 per offense if they go against this. But I guess also Dish Network was using T-Mobile, but now they're moving over to AT&T.
Yeah, so T-Mobile kind of gave them the cold shoulder. So AT&T said, "Hey, we'll let you piggyback off of our network."
Yeah,
which this whole thing is stupid. Like the government's trying to artificially generate competition here, and I don't know if it's going to happen. Like I don't know if this Dish thing is going to pan out.
I think there is a market for more carriers. I think you need it. You know, you can't, if you're left with one or two, prices are just going to go up. You know, the more carriers there are, the better for consumers. That's with everything.
Yeah, I agree with that. The more carriers, the better. And for some reason, auspiciously left out is Spectrum. Spectrum has their own cell phone service.
There's a lot of like smaller ones like Mint Mobile and all now that just use like the bigger companies' networks and they do it for cheaper.
So I guess the reason why the Dish Network one was so important to the government was Dish was saying they're going to build their own towers and their own networks. So maybe that's the whole thing about competition. So like all these companies aren't having to piggyback off of just two or three companies' towers.
Yeah.
So
it'll be interesting to see what happens.
Yeah, I think at the most they're just going to get fined a lot of money. And T-Mobile has like so many customers. Well, for now they have so many customers because let's jump into their next thing. They got hacked. And they didn't like officially announce this to anybody because obviously it's embarrassing. Now they had to because it actually came out.
Yeah, it got leaked. They were saying like, well, we didn't know if anything did get leaked, but the rumor is supposedly like 100 million people's information got leaked.
This is like one of the biggest hacks I've ever seen, honestly.
Yeah, T-Mobile has 104 million customers, so pretty much all of them would have got data, like the data would have been stolen. So yeah, T-Mobile is really downplaying it. I don't know how long ago the hack was, but they said the person who hacked them already sold like 30 million customer data for 270,000 Bitcoin, and the rest of it's kind of being sold off here and there to other people. This is their second hack since 2012 too. So T-Mobile is not known for the security, and this is definitely not helping.
But at least they're giving everybody 2 years of McAfee protection, identity protection.
Yeah, that's always like the thing. Like, oh, you can sign up for this and all. I don't know.
You got to think that there's been so many hacks that your data has to be out there somewhere.
It does. Yeah, I think so.
Like, I can't imagine a world where our data is not out there somewhere.
No, it is. Everybody gets hacked eventually. That's just like the world you live in. You just hope it's not important information or
like credit cards or anything like that.
Yeah,
because that's like runs into our next topic.
Our discussion topic.
Yeah, and what led into this kind of is MasterCard announced that they're ending the magnetic strip on cards, which has been around for quite some time.
1960s, right?
Yes, pretty much since the start. Yeah, it's been around a while. I think it's sometimes like the acronym is MST or magnetic strip. But yeah, a lot of companies used it. Like even the Samsung phones for a while had like the chip in there to like project the card data from the strip. So it had to go away eventually because it's not very secure.
No, and now with the rise of like the chip in the card, which I remember when they first came out and people were like, oh, I'm not going to use this. And like now that's like everybody uses it and all the cards have either one now. I know MasterCard in 2019 did away with the strip. So now you just have the chip in there. Oh no, they did away with where you had to sign the back of your card and it had the strip. But most places now have the chip reader and MasterCard is working with them if they don't have it.
Yeah, funny enough is in other countries, like a lot of European nations, they did away with the strip a long time ago. Like because they saw that as like not secure, and a lot of their regulations in other countries where they had to use the chip. And America was kind of behind, and we didn't want to like adopt this, I guess, for cost saving measures, because a lot of companies had to like overnight upgrade all their kiosks to have the chip reader.
Yeah, and I think we're at the point now where let's move to the chip. It is a lot more secure.
Yeah, and then I think we're kind of like talking about like the future of like payments in general, and obviously there's Bitcoin and all of that. That's still like up in the air. Like are we going to switch to that type of system? I don't know. That I don't think we will. But what do you think of like the palm reading aspect? Like Amazon and their stores. If you go into an Amazon store, your card information is just saved to your palm, and so when you go into the store, you just scan your palm. And then on a camera, the camera recognizes what you put in your cart. And when you leave, you just pay for it with your hand when you walk out.
Yeah, so like the biotech payment is like the wave of the future, right? So I think that technology is so far off. I think you'll see it like at one or two places. I think you'll see a lot more of the using your phone to pay for stuff. Yeah,
I think that's honestly probably going to be the next 10 years.
Yeah, where you can just tap your phone. And a lot of the phones now have that secure facial recognition or your fingerprint recognition. So it makes it a little bit secure, and then it'll be in your wallet. So you really would only need your phone.
Yeah, I think that is my preferred method because you don't have to carry a wallet with you. And I guess a like the Apple Pay, Samsung Pay, Google Pay, they all are going to have like things in there to add your license as well, your driver's license. So I could see a world where like you have your cards, your driver's license, everything in that phone app, and you don't have to worry about even having a wallet.
Yeah, I don't trust my license on those yet. But I do think that's like the future. And then, I mean, you've seen people already have like the chip implanted in like their hand and all that, use that for payments.
Yeah, I think we talked about that in previous episodes.
We talked
where
about
like
that.
A whole company like asked their employees to do this. I don't know if that's going to pan out.
But I can see like stuff like that with your Apple Watch or your Samsung Watch being tied there, and you can just do that, so you don't even need your phone out and have it on your wallet.
But there's a lot of people who don't want to wear like a wearable all the time. Like,
no, but I think you'll do that either way.
Oh yeah, either your phone or your watch. Yeah, that makes sense.
I think MasterCard moving away from the strip is them really seeing that like we're doing the chip, and then we'll really get into the point where you're just going to be able to like to tap your card.
Yeah, most places I go to just like tap my card anyways when I use my card instead of my phone.
I remember when like the cheap chip reader first came out, people were like, oh, it doesn't work, and it didn't work half the time. Now the only time I really have trouble with is Target. I feel like they have the worst chip readers. I don't know why. But maybe
they upgraded their systems early on, so like a lot of the readers are slower. Because I feel like a lot of the new machines, like you put the card in and it tells you it's ready to go immediately.
Yeah,
like it reads those chips real quick. And
I remember when the chips first came out and people did not like them, which makes sense for Americans. We hate change, especially like that's a simple change. We're like, hey, this is safer, more secure. And people are like, well, I don't like it. I just want to be able to swipe my card.
Yeah, people like that swiping action. I guess it's kind of like a fun, like it. I don't like the insert action. I like the swipe thing. It seems faster and more like fun.
Well, it seems like you're buying something like, yeah, I got this.
Yeah, I actually like the swipers that are like 10 feet long. You swipe it forever. Like, no, I actually, when I worked in retail, I hated swipers because those strips would just go bad so often, and you'd have to find out like interesting ways to get the reader to read. Like you would put it in a plastic bag and swipe the card with the plastic bag wrapped around the card so the machine would pick it up better. Like you'd come up with all sorts of crazy tricks.
Well, then there was also, I sent you that article later tonight before we record. I don't know if you got a chance to read it. But like moving to the phones and things like that is also, it's more environmentally friendly than having these cards that don't really break down, that does end up in landfills after a while. So it's a green technology that people can move to.
You mean like just not having cards at all like saves some?
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess that's the case, especially if people have like, what do you think the average American has? Like probably five cards?
Trying to think. Probably. I know people with one. I know people with a bunch. How many you have? 6?
Yeah, probably.
I know you like to, because you like to spend money every day of the week except for Sunday, and you use a different credit card for each day because Sunday's the Sabbath, and you like to take like the rest.
Yeah, you got me. Yeah, dead to rights right there. Wow.
No, but I do think like those phone, those tap payments and all, I really do think it's just the wave of the future.
Yeah, I just can't wait for all the stupid stores to like upgrade their systems. Like the worst ones are like they're ready for it, but they just are hard-headed and they don't want to turn it on. Like both Home Depot and Lowe's have the machines there to scan your phones, and they both refuse to accept payments from the phone.
That's so odd. Do you wonder if like, yeah, why? I don't get it. Why?
My thoughts exactly. I guess. I don't know. Maybe.
I wonder if they're thinking like, well, our clientels are more like construction workers and all, and they're not going to want to use the phone. So why turn it on if we don't think our customers are going to use it?
What makes no sense to me is because they seems like they paid and spent a lot of money on these really nice looking POS systems because they look nicer than most of the stores I've been to, and they even have a spot on there to scan your phone, but they just choose to turn it off. So stuff like that. It makes me super angry, but I wish all the companies would just get on board, let you scan your phone. So, yeah.
Especially with a lot of places now going cashless.
Yeah, everything's going we're going to a cashless society. Like near us, Kings Island, the Reds ballpark, Bengals ballpark just announced that they're not going to accept cash anymore. So all these places are going to like cashless. So I could see maybe like even like Target or Dick's Sporting Goods or something going cashless eventually as well.
Well, and even if you think about it, like if you go to like some of those like small markets, like farmer markets and all, a lot of people have their own like iPad and like what's that, Square? Is that the company?
Yeah, they have this
like payment system.
Yeah, there's payment systems.
So like even those situations, people are moving away from cash.
Yeah, it just makes sense. What sucks though is these companies can take their cut off the top. So that's kind of where we need to get better is like all these companies, since it's their service or their system, they want like a percentage cut. And maybe that's why some of them don't want to accept Apple Pay, because I think Apple might take a cut of the sale.
Oh yeah, they're definitely taking a cut.
So, all right, you ready to jump into the Tech News Bytes, Alex?
I'm getting my timer up now. I am ready.
Tech News Bytes.
All right, first one up is Wendy's plans 700 kitchens expressly designed for the food delivery apps. And I guess this is a new concept they're called ghost kitchens.
Yeah, they've been around for a while. A lot of like dusting the shelves of a lot of restaurants that went out of business. Well, you can't eat there, or they just make food for pickup. I don't know why. I don't know why Wendy's is doing this.
Well, they're not actually building these themselves. Like there's a third party company said, "Hey, can we use your branding?" I guess.
Yeah, Reef Technology. The build them across U.S., U.K., and Canada. They'll have them up by 2025 and 50 by the end of this year.
Yeah,
I don't get it. Like I'm getting Wendy's. I don't want to have to pay more for Wendy's than I already am. And with this service, you are paying more.
Yeah, you are, because I'm with you. I see no reason to pay the extra like delivery fee for a fast food that's not good. Not that good anyways in the first place. Like you're barely like feeling good about paying the prices you're paying when you buy it. Like why pay 30 to 40% more?
Yeah, I don't. We've talked about this before. I don't do delivery a lot. I will go pick it up. Only times I've done it is like for pizza. Like I don't want to pay more for food than it's already costing me to have somebody pick it up for me.
But you're pragmatic. I feel like the same way about it. But I feel like the pandemic has shifted people to the delivery thing, and Uber drivers have switched over to delivering food because there's probably not as many people taking Ubers. I noticed that I have used it a couple times, and the deliveries come a lot faster than they used to. But still, you're paying out the butt for the prices. So
yeah, it's like is that spicy chicken sandwich really worth the price you're paying to have it delivered to you now?
No, and plus it's soggy by the time it gets there. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Next one up is it sounds like Google is making its own Find My Network, kind of like Apple's Find My Network. I kind of saw this coming. This is kind of the writing was on the wall. But I guess somebody spotted this in the updates coming down the pipeline from Google, and it's going to be available on like the newer phones most likely.
Yeah, it's going to be called, the thing is going to be called Find My Device. It just makes sense. I feel like this is like something easy they can do to compete with something Apple does with the Find My Phone.
Yeah. You can already kind of do it, but I don't think it's as accurate as the Apple one. And this is going to be like a more like regimented service, and probably they're going to do what Apple did and add accessories to it eventually and that sorts of thing. They're all going to be in the same space eventually.
The only thing I found really interesting, they were saying eventually they could do it for like the Android-driven vehicles, like cars that are like Android power in the future. You Find My Device in case your car is stolen and all.
Yeah, I did see that because a lot of car manufacturers are announcing that their actual system that drives their infotainment system is going to be based on Android. So that's like a a couple automakers already signed on to do that. Now, I don't, off the top of my head, I don't remember the automakers. Maybe Ford? I don't know. That's just...
Yeah, but I find that like interesting. It's just a thing that makes sense. We can move on if you want.
Yeah, let's jump on to the next one. Next one up is Samsung announces a Polarizer-less OLED display for their phones with 25% less power use. I added this in because that's a pretty substantial like gain. 25% power like back, or a 33% like brightness gain on the screen. That's like pretty good numbers.
Yeah, so what it is with your phone, there's 3 layers of like screen on your phone. And the middle layer, the polarized layer, is what actually helps your picture clearer, because the other screens can't pick up black. They can't pick up black colors.
Yeah,
so
that
like
base screen is like a copper color. So the main screen's a copper color, and the big thing with OLED screens is you want that perfect black. And like you said, the polarizer layer
is what gives it to you.
It gives it to you. So they designed, I guess, they redesigned the main screen so it doesn't have that copper color and doesn't reflect the light back at you. And so you get the black without the polarizer layer.
Yeah, and it's called the Eco 2 OLED because they'll be moving that layer, so that helps the environment. Also, it's going to improve your battery by 25% because it's going to improve the brightness by 33%. So they're touting this as like an eco-friendly thing, which it is, but it's just better in general. I mean,
yeah,
it's going to increasing your power and your brightness of your phone, but using less pieces. It's just better for you.
And you're going to see this tech trickle down to all the phones, because Samsung pretty much makes displays for like all the manufacturers. So iPhones will have this, pretty much the Samsung phones, and probably a lot of the other competitors will have these features, because Samsung makes everything for phones, it seems like. So,
all right, next topic.
Yeah, let's jump on to the next one. NASA is sending a 3D printer that will print bricks out of lunar soil to the International Space Station for testing.
Yeah, this is a big move. This is going to determine if we can use the soil on the moon and Mars to build shelters and things that we need, if they can withstand the harsh environments. And
like print in microgravity and all that stuff. It's kind of cool. Because obviously you don't want to haul like bags of cement in your spaceship to the moon to build like a structure. You kind of need to use like what's on the planet itself. So this is a way to test it out to see if it's feasible.
Yeah, I just thought it was cool. The word that they use is regolith.
Regolith.
Is what this regolith?
I don't know.
It's a soil rock that they will be using. So they've always decided that they wanted like soil-based habitats to be their future, and this is the biggest thing, if this actually works, that they can build. Because again, you're not lugging up there all this equipment if you can build your building materials from the stuff around you.
Yeah, the other idea
makes the most sense.
Is like the inflatable materials. Like some stuff would be inflatable and like kind of blow up, but then obviously you would need stronger structures.
You're telling me I could go to the moon and live on the moon with less gravity, and my floor would be like a bounce house?
Yeah. Well, I mean,
is that what you're telling me with the inflatables?
Just the actual floor of the moon is a bounce house because of the gravity.
Yeah, but I would be bouncing extra high.
I would like to know. That's my biggest thing about going back to the moon, is I want to know how high we can jump on the moon. I just want to know.
They really should send up like a basketball player, like a Zach LaVine, that has like really good ups.
Yeah, I want to see sports played on the moon, like maybe a whole basketball game played on the moon. That would be amazing.
Not this crappy golf that they did.
No, I would tune into that if they played sports on the moon. All right.
Next topic.
Next one up is your next smartwatch could be powered by sweat. This is nasty. But, it could be a useful feature if you want to have like a nice sleek device around your wrist or your arm, like to track your, exercise.
Yeah, it's interesting. So it said they use 2 milliliters of sweat to power 20 hours of a watch. I don't know if it would really work that well, but it's out of the university in Singapore.
Yeah, they said the material of like the band itself is designed to hold on to sweat, so the battery, it's like an organic battery, doesn't use heavy metals or anything like that. So the battery can use that sweat to power itself. Kind of gross, but practical in the same way.
Yeah, so the big thing is like you saying using no heavy metals or toxic chemicals to power your watch. And everybody sweats. I sweat a lot, so I can power probably like 400.
Yeah, man, I might be able to power a whole phone, like a whole tablet, just carry a tablet around with me, like just strap these all over my body, like make my shorts out of this, and we'd be good to go, power like my car.
Yeah, it's just interesting if something they could keep going. I can see people using it like, oh, you just use it while you're exercising or power or whatever monitor device that you're using at that time.
Well, yeah, you know how Power or Gatorade had those strips you could put on your body. That's what they need to do. Is you could just power it with your sweat.
Yeah, it makes sense.
So yeah, I think it's a cool. Yeah, let's move on. It's an out there idea. Next one up is Boston Dynamics. We've talked about them before. They're the companies that make Spot Robot, the little robot that looks like a dog, I guess. And they also have a humanoid robot called the Atlas. And they recently released an awesome video of the Atlas robot doing parkour. Sort of.
I don't like it.
You don't like it? It's kind of creepy.
I don't like it. Oh, look, that's getting more and more advanced, and we've all seen how this story ends.
It looks like CGI. Like it that's how good these things move, is it looks like it's not real.
Yeah, and look up the video. Like, they're doing... Like, they do, like, a balance beam. They go up steps. They do, like, if you ever watch American Ninja Warriors, where they jump back and forth between the platforms. They do them. It's not, like, super big obstacle course, but it does look like they're getting a lot more advanced with their movement.
They're doing backflips, Alex. They did a backflip.
Yeah, anybody can do a backflip.
So I think eventually, if these get good enough, they'll be doing my dishes, vacuuming my house, mowing my lawn. What do you think? 10 years? 15 years?
Yeah, but then you're going to push them too far, Mike, and then they're going to turn on us.
Yeah. They didn't even give these things faces. Like, they're not humanoid. The only humanoid aspect of them are their arms and legs and torso. They don't even have faces, really.
Yeah. I don't know.
Are they less creepy without a face or with a face?
What do you think, like, the first practical use of these? Like, mail carts in, like, companies?
Yeah, I don't know. They're probably going to sell them to the military first.
Well, okay, yeah, that's probably the first practical use of
and
them.
The police will use them to, like, go in there and check out to see if they get shot at. Then, like, it's not safe to send a human in. If we can let the Atlas robot get shot, but not a human.
Yep.
So
next topic.
Yeah, next one up. Final story of the night. Loco Drive-In is the country's first daytime drive-in movie theater. This is a terrible idea, but yeah, it's the first. So, okay, automatically great.
This is very different. I thought this was an awesome idea.
Do you want to watch a movie in the daytime?
Not really the daytime, but I wish the movie started earlier. Like, because I like going to the drive-ins. So to drive in like 20 minutes from my house. I went last year during the pandemic. I saw SpongeBob, the first SpongeBob movie, and it was followed by Raiders of the Lost Ark.
That's a weird combo.
It was a good combo. First SpongeBob movie is great. And it was cool seeing the opening scene, the Raiders of the Lost Ark on the big screen. But I like the drive-in, but like this, like the first movie doesn't start till 8:40. And like, it's just like too late. Like, I think this would be a cool idea if they're saying as good as the picture's supposed to be. I think it's a cool idea that we could do.
It's a 35 by 65 foot LED video board that's like bright enough to be shown during the day. They said it has, they call it the Loco Drive-In, country's first daytime drive-in movie theater, capable of screening films without the aid of darkness. Isn't this same technology in like ballparks?
Yeah, which doesn't make sense why more places don't try to do it.
Because it's so expensive.
Yeah, but if you can show movies more than one time a day.
Yeah.
Like, I looked at the drive-in by my house, and it's $9 for this weekend. Like, per person. You can see Free Guy, followed by Suicide Squad 2. Which is a pretty good combo, I think.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I'm like, I want drive-ins to come back. I think it's a fun experience. I just wish they didn't start as late as they did around us.
I have a confession, never been to a drive-in.
You've never been to a drive-in?
No, never been.
Oh, that's so fun. Like, I know how you are with your screens and sound. Don't expect like that. But again, like, as I said, it was $9 per person. You're getting Free Guy and Suicide Squad 2 that just came out. You can either eat there or bring in food. Usually the kids are playing beforehand. A lot of the times it was like a kids movie first and like an adult movie second when kids fall asleep.
Do they have speakers?
So this one, they said the speakers are loud enough so you can hear it. A lot of times you like play it through your car, or if you have a portable speaker, you can play it through that. Yeah, it's just a fun time. I went with my wife a couple of years ago. She's never been. She really enjoyed it. And it's just like, you don't really have to worry about people talking because a lot of times you're in your car. If you have like a hatchback, you can sit with it playing through the car there. It's just a fun time. It's nice.
Well, if you had a truck, can you back your truck in, or?
Yeah, you can back your spot in. Like, so we had a minivan growing up, and they'll give you like ties so it doesn't open up all the way, but you can sit in the back there, and people have chairs out. The driving's a fun time. It's a good like family or like friends adventure.
I guess it's maybe one of those things where you can also feel a little bit more comfortable talking as well, maybe.
Yeah.
During the movie.
Like I think when I went with my wife, we saw it was a while ago, we saw the first Hunger Games, and I think the first Avengers or the second Avengers, whatever came out the same year, like as those, and like she didn't even really know much about the Avengers. So like they kind of talking to her, and we already saw the Hunger Games before that, and we're sitting in the car, so we can like talk, like, oh, I missed that the first time, and like, so it's like it's a lot more laid back viewing experience. And it's just like nice, like you go on like a nice cool night.
Yeah.
It's a fun pastime that I like.
I guess it'd be good for like a classic like movie or something like Raiders of the Lost Ark or something.
I mean, it's good for like newer movies. I think the one we saw the one time was Con Air and Air Force One double feature.
Yeah.
I fell asleep during Air Force One.
Yeah, I'm not passing any judgment until I actually do it, but there's just not anything conveniently close to me. Like growing up in Kentucky, I don't think there was any within like a 30-mile radius of us.
No, like I remember as a kid driving a while to get to one. And like this, we moved out here, and it's like 20 minutes from my house.
Yeah.
So it's really not that far from you if you ever wanted to go one night.
Yeah, we'll have to look and see what they have, and one day we could just go up there and do it. Yes. We'll tell the podcast listeners how the experience was. I'll let everybody know.
We could do a live future jam.
Oh yeah, fantastic.
I think you would really like the drive-in. It's a fun experience.
Well, I'll take your word for it, Alex. And
it's a piece of Americana that you have to do, Mike. I love the drive-in.
Yeah, I will have to do it because I feel like it's kind of like a thing that's dying off. But what's not dying off, Alex, is our Resurrected Tech of the Week. We don't have it.
Are we not doing the driverless Colorado cars or Tesla?
Oh, let's do it. Yeah, we totally missed two of them. So I lied about having one story left. We have two of them. So two driverless car stories. First one up is the nation's largest fleet of autonomous vehicles launches in Golden, Colorado. And I think it's just the college like has all these electric shuttles they bought that are like autonomous, and they can drive them around the campus into different like local places. And they'll have volunteers that ride in the vehicle and can take over the controls if something goes awry. But I think it's a cool idea.
Yeah, it's the Colorado School of Mines.
Never even heard of it.
Never heard of it. I think it's a good school.
Is it like mines, like people, like the performing artists that...
I think so. That's why I think like they wanted these electric cars, they're quieter and all. They want to keep that, keep it silent. No, but yeah, they have 9 driverless, zero emissions EZ10 shuttles, 100% electric. Yeah, no, let's go. They said they'll run like every 5 to 10 minutes, and they'll have 3 different routes that they will run. And they'll have somebody in there in case people have questions or like they have to take over and drive. I can see this being like the wave of the future for...
Like cities?
Yeah, cities like this, or like college campuses, or if you go to like an event where they have like, sometimes have shuttles pick people up, I can see them having these where they can just kind of go and not use that much.
Yeah, I think they probably only go maybe 30 miles per hour tops. So it's like definitely a lower speed. They're not getting on the highway. They're not doing anything crazy. So it's essentially just like a shuttle bus, like short range. So I could see these, if they work out here, yeah, I could see them propagating everywhere.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see how they do. But I thought it was a neat story.
Yeah. And then staying on the driverless technology, Tesla's Autopilot, the United States opens official investigation into self-driving tech on the Tesla vehicles.
Yeah, Tesla has 11 crashes since 2018. I think the big thing was these crashes had to deal with a lot of them dealt with them hitting like
emergency vehicles, like
emergency vehicles,
or
fire trucks, and all that pulled over to help somebody else.
So I love they didn't open the investigation into Tesla until they were like running into government-owned vehicles, and the government's like, hold up, you can't be hitting our vehicles. We're gonna investigate you. You can hit all the pedestrians and all of the other cars you want, but if you hit a police car, we're gonna investigate the hell out of you.
Yeah, I think the government was just like letting these companies kind of do what they want. They kept showing them like the statistics, like, oh, we ran this many hours, we didn't have any issues. But I think they're really looking at like what is the future of these self-driving cars? Because and I think the government's coming at it like, because Tesla is promoting, and all these companies are promoting like these self-driving cars where you don't have to pay attention.
Yeah, they're making
the cars will do it.
Yeah,
and that's how they'll like promote it. But then like you see like Tesla's like, no, we never really said that. Like you still need somebody to watch the cars, but that's not how people are taking it.
No, it's double speak. Like definitely Tesla is guilty of double speak, where they're like, oh, buy this. They even call it autopilot. Like if you hear the term autopilot, you just assume the car's doing all the heavy lifting. And they've always been reluctant to include technology to like warn you if your hands are off the wheel or if you're not paying attention. Like a lot of other manufacturers have like a lot of warning systems there to like, oh, put your hands back on the wheel or do this or that. And I think the Tesla cars are pretty lax as far as that goes.
Yeah. It was like when cruise control first came out and people were like, oh, cruise control, you just put it and you set it. And that's how I think people take it as. But like, no, it's what cruise control is supposed to be. Like, it just assists you when you're like tired to be able to do stuff, and you don't have to be in 100% control. You can lean back a little bit, but you should still be 95% in control of the car the whole time. Yeah,
it's definitely a weird spot because Tesla also like sells it as like a premium service that makes it sound like it's way more capable than it actually is. Like it's $10,000 to add on autopilot to any of their vehicles. So that's a hefty sum of money. And if you're putting down 10 grand, you're probably assuming that it's going to be way more capable than it actually is.
Yeah. And it's just, I've said it before on this show, like I do think we aren't where like self-driving cars, like we aren't where we think self-driving cars are at. Like we do think where it's just like, I'm just going to put this on and go take a nap in the back of the car. But it's really like it's supposed to assist you while you're still in control of the car, but you don't have to focus 100% of the time.
But I do want the government to look into this, but I also don't want the government to get too heavy-handed where it kind of like hinders the growth of this technology either. Because I feel like the government could take a heavy-handed approach, which they kind of avoided up to this point. So they have allowed the car manufacturers to like develop this technology on roads with people, and for the most part, it's been pretty safe. I haven't heard of too many crazy things. Obviously, Tesla has the most cars on the road. They have close to 1 million vehicles that have these capabilities. So obviously, they're going to be the ones that are going to be taking the brunt of this the most.
I think the issue now is it's becoming more common for people to have like talk about self-driving cars, and more people know about them.
Yeah,
and they're showing up more places. And I think the biggest flaw in the technology is probably what they're trying to look at is when there's randomly a stopped vehicle in the car, in the road, like emergency vehicle, why isn't the technology warning the people? You know, why isn't it doing what it's supposed to? And if people don't think...
Yeah, it definitely has like blind spots, and it should warn you it should probably be more cautious still, like, hey, please take over. Like the car should, in more situations, probably tell the driver you need to take over, or like, hey, this situation is in front of us. If the car's too confused, it probably just needs to hand it off.
Yeah, and I think that's the issue is when the car's probably reading like this should just be a street. There's no other, like, maybe there's no other traffic around it or something like that. Why are we stopped? It might just be, I don't know how the system works, and if it just like, oh, this might just be an error, we can keep going straight because this road is supposed to, like, if we're still on the road, there shouldn't be something in front of us.
But I will say this, there is no such thing as a perfect system. Like, there's, no matter what, if we do develop this driverless tech to be, like, the be-all thing, there's still going to be incidents. But the thing is are we going to accept those incidents over the level of incidents that a normal human driver would like have?
Yeah.
So that's,
okay.
I don't know where you draw the line, but yeah.
Anyway,
Tesla's probably going to
get into our revived tech of the week.
Yeah, let's jump right into our resurrected tech. What is it usually like? Tech RIP or something like that. I don't know. It's just something different every week. But I don't remember this being a thing. But well, I kind of do.
It sounded familiar.
Yeah, it sounded familiar.
I'd never used it, but it sounded familiar.
I like the idea though. I do like the idea. So basically, what we're talking about is a local anonymous social media app called Yik Yak is coming back. And I guess the original concept was you would log in to the app. It would only show conversations within a 5-mile radius of you, and it would be like fully anonymous. It'd be just like a text thread, and people could upvote and downvote like parts of the thread, and you just, I guess, talk about your locality or whatever.
Yeah, it sounds cool. It sounds kind of like the Nextdoor app. Hopefully it's not as wild as the Nextdoor app, but I think it would be.
Well, I think it's different than the Nextdoor app because you probably the Nextdoor you have to like prove that you live there and all that stuff, and this is more like you log in and knows your device's location, and pretty much it just shows a radius. So if you're traveling, I could see it being useful for traveling. Like if you go to a new area, you log into Yik Yak, it shows like the conversations going around your locale where you're at. And I think they originally became popular at college campuses because that'd be easy to conversate with people at like small groups like that.
Okay.
I think the biggest issue though early on was bullying and like that sorts of thing. Obviously, that comes into play. You're not supposed to reveal your actual like identity. It's supposed to be like anonymous.
Yeah, anytime something's anonymous, you just get a lot of bullying and hatred. I don't know if you ever you ever went to Cincinnati.com?
No.
For the longest time, they had anonymously comment on like stories and all. And then they updated it like, oh, you have to at least like use like your name or your Facebook profile to comment. And the comments went way down. Because people did not want to actually put their name on something.
But what's weird is Facebook comments are still like crazy and terrible, and I'm like, these people are using their personal accounts to make these terrible posts. I don't understand. I don't understand people sometimes. They said this app is live on iOS now. It's coming to Android and other app stores. They built in protections against bullying this time around, so they're saying it's going to be better. We'll see. But I will give it a go once it comes live on Android.
You let me know how it works out.
I will. I'll chat with all the people at the airport because I live near the airport. So, yeah, I could say, hey, how's your flight? And, yeah, hopefully get some cool info there. We're The Future Jam. You can find us at The Future Jam on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. We try to update it when we can. Life gets hectic. COVID happens. But, yeah, we're getting swing of things. Next week, we're covering back-to-school tech. We'll have a special guest on. And
yeah, it'll be exciting.
We'll have, in the weeks to come, a teaser for a new show we're making and developing. So keep your ears peeled for that. And, yeah, thanks for listening.